Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to yet another episode of Steel Trenches. These are tense times. The war between the United States, Israel, and Iran is now on the ninth day. Missiles are flying, oil markets are surging, global investors are scrambling for safety. A war in the Middle East does not stay confined to the battlefield. It is traveling through pipelines, shipping lanes, and commodity markets. And this time, three of the world's most critical economic arteries are under tremendous pressure. The Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly a fifth of global energy flows. The Red Sea corridor that links Asia and Europe, and now Qatar's liquefied natural gas exports, which is the cornerstone of global gas supply. When these arteries tighten, the consequences extend far beyond energy markets. They reach into factories, construction sites, supply chains, food supply. Tonight we explore how this conflict may be quietly rewriting the rules of the global steel market. At the moment, the world economy is in the stage of a geopolitical shock. Markets have reacted more or less cautiously, but warning signs are visible. Alarm bells are ringing. Oil prices jumped sharply after the strikes on Iran. They have risen more than 15% and crossed $100 a gallon this morning. Airspace closures across the Gulf have disrupted aviation routes. Economists are warning that this disruption to energy flow will feed into inflation, supply chain disruptions, and disrupt global growth. The dominant feature of the markets presently is not panic, it is uncertainty. Steel traders, shipping companies, and commodity producers are pausing deals and reassessing risks. This is often how commodity crises begin. What makes the present moment unusual is that three different shocks are unfolding simultaneously. First, the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway, is one of the world's most critical energy choke points. About 20% of global oil and LNG supplies pass through it. Even partial disruption would push energy prices higher. At the moment, it's more than partial, it's an almost virtual closure of the strait. The Red Sea corridor that links Asian manufacturing hubs with European markets through the Suez Canal is under squeeze. Shipping lines are diverting vessels around the Cape of Good Hope, adding weeks to the global supply chain. And the most underestimated shock is Qatar's LNG disruption. Missile strikes forced Qatar Energy to halt energy production at the LNG production plant. Qatar supplies one-fifth of the global LNG. The shutdown sends gas prices surging across Europe and Asia. Energy markets have reacted instantly, and the consequences are extending directly into the heavy industry. The connection between LNG and steel may not be very obvious, but in modern steel making, natural gas plays a critical role. Many steel plants rely on DRI, which is called direct reduced iron. This process uses natural gas to convert iron ore into metallic iron before it is melted in electric arc furnaces. In many plants, natural gas accounts for up to 70% of production costs. So when LNG prices rises, steel making costs follow. Gas prices also influence electricity prices, another major cost for steel producers. This means an energy shock in the Gulf will quickly translate it itself into a global steel cost shock. Another market that's responding quickly is ferrous scrap. Scrap traders in the Gulf report that shipping services into Jebel Ali and Dammam have halted as shipping companies are reassessing risks. Scrap markets are extremely sensitive to logistics. When vessels become scarce or insurance costs spike, shipments stall. Supplies tighten in some regions while accumulating in others. And if gas prices remain elevated, making DRI more expensive, steelmakers may increase their reliance on scrap, which could push global steel prices even higher. Then let's look at Iran's role in the steel market. Iran is a key variable. It exports volumes of steel billets, slabs, and DRI. The war has brought this to a standstill. With the disappearance of Iranian semi-finished steel, other suppliers could step in, but prices would rise in the process. Taken together, these developments could fragment the global steel market even further. Inside the Gulf region, steel prices may rise as imports become more difficult and freight costs increase. Outside the region, exporters in countries such as China, India, and Turkey could face weaker demand if Middle Eastern buyers pause purchases. The result will be regional price zones. Some regions will experience shortages, others will experience oversupply, but everyone will experience increased input costs. War will reshape more than borders. It will reshape trade routes, supply chains, and the invisible architecture of the global economy. At this moment, the steel industry is not yet confronting a supply crisis. It is confronting something just as powerful: uncertainty. With energy flows under threat, shipping routes becoming unpredictable, the cost of risk is rising. If these disruptions persist, the supply market may discover that geography, not just economics, will determine who produces steel, who trades it, and who ultimately pays for it. This is a shift in the world's industrial system that's not easy to ignore. My podcast will continue on this crisis. We'll also look how it will affect India, but that's for a future podcast. Remember, steel follows energy, and energy follows geopolitics. Thank you for your time. Thank you for signing in. Stay safe and do subscribe to Steel Trenches. Thank you for